British and German Palestinians who've done some good work on this, right? And they've looked at Germany sort of after 9/11 and sort of the securitization of Palestine, or placing sort of the Palestine problem in the, let's say, Islamic, what is it called, security Islam kind of framework, right? After 9/11. I actually like to think about it more in terms of what happened after 2015 in this country. So in 2015, remember this is a few years after the start of the Arab Revolution. So already in the Arab world, you have a generation of really like very outspoken activists, writers, thinkers, academics, and otherwise, like just normal people who themselves are intolerant to authoritarianism. So they arrive here thinking, you know, that this is a free space, that this is a space from which to critique their governments back home. But then, of course, paying taxes here, living here, eventually they begin to think they're from here, right? So in many ways, they use this knowledge and they turn it onto the state here and turn it onto society here. So I think 2015 becomes a defining moment you know, a few years after maybe it begins to be felt, especially probably in universities. I mean, you could maybe correct me on that, but I think in universities and definitely in the art world, where the conversation gets louder and there's more confidence, right? So you can't tell someone from the Middle East, you can't talk about this or you can talk about that. They just had a revolution. Like, what are you doing? You know, it doesn't, and they're able to see parallels in authoritarian practices. And I'll give you an example. So I have a student where I teach a course on Palestine, Israel, and I asked her at the beginning of the course, I asked them all, why are you taking this course? So she said she's from Syria. And she said, well, when I was in Syria, I grew up hearing, you know, Palestine, 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 you must love Palestine, right? Yeah. And I didn't want to understand Palestinian history because they wanted to indoctrinate me with loving Palestine, so I rejected it. She said, but then I came here, and they told me, no Palestine, no Palestine, no Palestine. Israel, Israel, Israel. So she said, now I want to know, what is the story with Palestine? What is the history of Palestine? But they're behaving the same way. Yeah. And she said it was shocking that a liberal democracy and an authoritarian state would use the same language, right, to talk about actually it is a question of human rights in the end, about a history of justice. And they're using the same language for different political reasons. So I do think just what's intensified it obviously is